What we're going to be making now is a vanilla creme brulee with pumpkin snickerdoodles. We're going to start with the pumpkin snickerdoodle cookies because we want to allow this dough to sit in the fridge and rest for a good hour, 2 hours before we use it. It's always advisable to refrigerate your cookie dough, whatever kind of cookie dough it is, before you bake it. Just gives it time to rest a little bit better, and when it bakes a lot more evenly and you get a nice chewy finish. So we're going to start with, there's a lot of ingredients to this one, so bear with me here. We got 1 1/4 cups butter plus 1 tablespoon unsalted softened. And then we have a 1/2 cup plus 3 tablespoons of light brown sugar. 1 1/4 cup plus 1 tablespoon of granulated sugar. Just gonna put that on there and we're just gonna cream that up until it's nice and fluffy. Okay, so now that our butter and sugar has been creamed, it's nice and light and fluffy and pale. Can you see that? Okay. We're going to go ahead and add 1 egg yolk, okay? And then we're also going to add 1 cup of our pumpkin puree. And we're using a canned pumpkin puree for this. You can obviously make your own, but for our cookie, the canned actually works really well. If I was making something like a pumpkin pie, I would want to roast and puree my own pumpkin because really that's the only thing you're going to taste. In this, we have so many other things that you're going to taste that the pumpkin kind of takes a back seat. It's more of a flavor enhancer. We'll just mix that in, and then I have lots of dry stuff that's going to go in here. So I have 1.5 teaspoons of cinnamon, 1/2 teaspoon of ginger, 1/4 teaspoon of fresh nutmeg. Okay, I also have 2 teaspoons of cornstarch, 2 teaspoons of baking soda, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of cream of tartar. Okay, and I also have 5 3/4 cups of all-purpose flour. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to add the spices in first. Okay, and now I'm going to start to add some of the flour. Okay, we're going to let that mix just until it comes together. Okay, you can see how it's tacky, but it's not sticky. It's not like sticking to my hands or anything. It's almost like Play-Doh-ish. Okay, so that's what we're looking for right there. And we'll wrap this up in some plastic wrap, put it in the refrigerator for an hour or 2, and then we'll bake it off. Okay, so now we're going to make our vanilla creme brulee. There's a lot of different theories of thought on how to make creme brulee. Everybody has different ways of making it. I'm going to show you mine. I was trained by a French pastry chef, so this is the way that I was taught how to make it. We're going to start with some beautiful roti fresh heavy cream. I have 17 egg yolks, fresh egg yolks. If you wanted to use pasteurized egg yolks, I'd say it's a little over a cup, maybe 1 1/4 cups of egg yolks. And then I have 1/2 cup plus 1/3 cup of sugar, okay? Okay, so we're gonna put the heavy cream into our pot, 1 quart. We're gonna add about half of the sugar. Okay, and then the next thing is we're gonna split 2 vanilla beans. Now this method that I'm showing you is gonna allow the beans to be suspended in the custard after it's done baking. We'll put that over a high heat, and I'm just gonna stir it just for about 30 seconds, just to make sure that the sugar on the bottom is dissolved into the cream. Egg yolks are gonna go into a mixing bowl. Okay, just wanna break those up. You don't wanna use a whisk, because then you're just gonna incorporate air. We don't want air in there. Add the remaining sugar, and just stir. So now that I have that ready, I'm just gonna wait for my cream to boil, and then we can finish this creme brulee. Okay, so once that cream scalds, it comes right to the top of the pan. You're gonna start tempering your egg yolks right away. And what we'll do now is we're gonna strain this, and that's where this comes in handy. You wanna get all that stuff out of there. See all that coagulated egg? You wanna get that out. Okay? So we're gonna bake these off now. And you can use any kind of ramekin. We have these ramekins here. You can use sheet pans or whatever kind of pan you have that's appropriate that can contain water while it's in the oven. We're just gonna put our dishes inside the pans. And we're gonna take our custard, put about 6 ounces in each one. And we just need to put them in the oven. So I'll need to get a pot of water so that I can put them into the oven, and then I'm gonna put the water into the pan. We're just gonna fill it up just about halfway, just to insulate the custard to make sure that it bakes more evenly. Okay, so the next step, now that our cookie dough is rested, we're gonna take about golf ball sized round balls like that. I have 1/2 cup of sugar, a teaspoon of cinnamon, We're just going to toss that in there. And then what you're going to do is you're going to put them on a baking mat, parchment lined sheet pan. You're just going to push it down. Real simple. This is something your kids can help you with. So what we'll do now is we'll put these in the oven, 350 oven, for about 10 to 12 minutes. You want to underbake these a little bit so they retain that nice chewy texture that a Snickerdoodle is famous for. The final step in making your creme brulee is obviously the brulee part. So we're going to use sugar in the raw. I'm going to put on about, I don't know, 2 teaspoons to a tablespoon per custard. Just give it a little shake, spread it out nice and even, and then dump off any excess. You don't want too much on there. And then I always like to clean up the edge of the dish because I don't want to burn sugar on the edge of my dish. Then take your handy butane torch and burn it up. You don't want to blacken it, we're just caramelizing it. That's why I like the sugar in the raw, because once it melts, it's got good flavor to it. We're gonna break out the big guns here. This thing's a waste. This is what you need right here. Get one of these things from your Home Depot. Voila, that one's perfect. There you go, finished creme brulee. We'll plate one up for you so you can see how we'd serve it in the restaurant. And that's it, very simple. And that's how you make our vanilla creme brulee with pumpkin Snickerdoodle cookies. I hope you enjoyed this recipe, and I really hope it was easy for you. If not, my email is mpeterson@newportharbor.com. You can send me an email anytime, and I hope you really enjoyed it. I enjoyed being here with you today, and happy holidays.